We're starting off with a clean, already primed eye. I just used a little bit of concealer in my brow bone area, and I also used concealer directly onto my lid. Next step is going to be setting an eyeshadow base. I'm using a white base. This is NYX, and the color is just a plain matte white. You're going to put some of that base, which you're going to apply lightly and sparingly on your lid. And I'm also going to take a little bit of that into my crease area. I'm going to kind of avoid the brow bone because I don't want it to look too white, and that's, you know, going to depend on your complexion. So just make sure that you're smoothing it out really good and you don't apply too much of it. You want it to just be a light layer. For my brow bone highlight, I'm using Vex eyeshadow, which has a little bit of pink and purple in it. I know it looks like a frosty white, but it has more of a purple pinkish hint to it. I'm applying that color just under my brow bone with my 252 brush, and then I'm just blending it out. Next, I'm using a hot pink eyeshadow. I know it looks purple because of the lighting, but it is more pink than it is purple. This is Sugar Pill's Dolly Pop eyeshadow. You don't need the palette to get this one eyeshadow. It is individually sold. And if you don't have Sugar Pill's Dolly Pop, you can use MAC's Passionate eyeshadow. So any type of any type of hot pink eyeshadow. I'm going to get that product on my 224 brush, and starting in the outer corner, I'm going to start buffing that just in my crease. I'm also going to take it and blend it a little bit in my inner corner. And I'm using very soft strokes back and forth and circular motions to buff out any harsh lines that there may be. Next, you're going to need a dark purple matte eyeshadow, and by matte I mean absolutely no shimmer. This is Poison Plum. It's dark purple here by Sugar Pill. Now, if you don't have Poison Plum, you can always use Shadowy Lady by MAC, and it's like a dark eggplant purple. Or if you can get your hands on Fig 1 by MAC, you can use that too. And both of these are both in the dark purple family and will work great for this step. It'll just look a little different, but you can definitely substitute for those if you don't have Sugar Pill. But anyways, I'm going to take my 219 pencil brush. You're going to want something that's like really small, something that's going to get in the corners. And I'm going to pack that color on with my brush. And on the outer corner, I'm just creating dots. And on the inner corner, I'm just creating dots, packing that on. Then I'm going to take that purple with my brush and kind of trace my crease. And don't worry about how messy that looks. You're just going to basically create those, kind of like a connect the dot effect. You want these two areas to join together. Then you're going to take a blending brush. This is my 217 blending brush. Still working with that same purple. And we're going to buff that out. Through the inner and outer corner. You don't want to see any harsh lines. You don't want it to look blotchy. You want it to all look smoothed and airbrushed. Go back with your 224 blending brush along the edges of that purple and just blend out any harsh lines around the edges of that purple. Next, I'm going to go back with my hot pink and my 252 shader brush. And we're applying this color directly on the center of the eyelid. gonna look a little messy right now, but we're gonna come back and do some correcting. On top of that, I'm applying a fuchsia pigment. This is fuchsia pigment by MAC. It's just basically the pigment equivalent of a hot pink eyeshadow. And I'm really gonna pack it on so that it looks really glittery, sparkly, and so that it really stands out. Then I'm gonna go back with my purple blending brush and just blend out around the edges of that pink so that there's a smooth transition from each color. You don't want anything to look too harsh or anything to not look blended. You want everything to just smoothly blend into each other and look like they kind of fade into each other. If you didn't do this step earlier, like I failed to do, you can go back to your white base and apply a little bit of that under your bottom lash line, because we are going to put some eyeshadow colors down there and you want to create a nice base to pick up those colors. I'm applying the purple eyeshadow in the same pattern that we did directly on top of our eyelid, and that is inner corner, on the outer corner, and then we're going to leave a little pocket blank for the center of the lid. And we're going to fill in the center area by putting some fuchsia pigment on the bottom. Using my Vex eyeshadow and my 219 pencil brush, I'm applying a little dab of that on the inner corner of my eye, kind of like a highlight color. I'm going to use a black pencil liner. This is Feline by MAC, and line my waterline. Then I'm going to line my upper lash line with a liquid liner. This is Maybelline's Ultra Liner. It has a black patent shine and it is waterproof. And I'm not going to worry too much about how the line looks now because I'm just applying it just to get really close to my lash line. But once I put my lashes on, I will reapply. Now I'm applying mascara, and I'm using Maybelline's Lash Stiletto. You can stop at this step and just, do mascara and no lashes, but personally, since you are probably going to be taking pictures and photographs, the lashes really will make your eyes stand out a lot nicer. So I do highly, highly recommend wearing lashes for any type of prom, dance, any type of event where you're going to be being photographed a lot. It will make a huge difference and make your eyes stand out. And even if they don't even have to be a dramatic pair, they can just something's better than nothing. And then if you have trouble applying them, there's always YouTube videos on how to apply lashes. You can always go to your local makeup counter and just have them apply the lash. There's just so many ways. Have a friend apply them for you. Next, we're going to go ahead and go into the lash application. These are a number 5 pair I picked up from Nigel's Beauty Emporium in North Hollywood. They're a pair that I've actually been using quite frequently. So you're going to start off with your lash glue. My lash glue of choice is the Duo brand, which can often be found at MAC counters, and you can also actually find this at pharmacies. Pretty much it's like one of those most popular brands. And I just use the regular white one. I don't even bother with the tinted ones because, quite frankly, it's not that serious, and the white one dries clear, so I feel like I get adequate results with the white one. So don't be alarmed if you see white. It's really not going to be what you think it is. I mean, unless you apply too much, then that's a whole different story. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take your lash and your lash glue. Very little goes a long way. Starting with the outer or inner corner, you're going to lightly apply your glue along the strip, and I'm going to ensure that I leave like an extra little bead on that outer corner, and then same on the inner corner, a little bead, because the corners is where the lash, if it's going to fall off, will obviously start on a corner. So you want to make sure you get like that extra little security bond on the ends. Now the trick with lash glue and applying lashes is not applying them immediately after you set the glue. So you want to give it about 20 seconds to let the glue get a little tacky, so that when you do apply it to your eye, it's not, you know, swimming around and moving around. It actually is sticky. So we have our glue set, and what also helps is look at the natural curvature of your eye. Your eye is not a straight line. This lash strip is a straight line. So a way to help it adhere to your eye is taking it with your two hands, kind of bend it, mold it, play with it a little bit, manipulate the shape. Do one of these numbers while the glue dries, and it will help, you know, round out the lash line and help adhere to your eye a little bit easier, so that it's not poking out on one end or the other. Make it a little flexible. Nobody's eye is a straight line, so kind of bend it around and play with it. It's about time to apply. If you need to, you can use tweezers. Sometimes I use a combination of both tweezers and no tweezers, and I just go on with my hands. But for the initial application, I start on the ends, and personally I do have to bring my eyelashes down because they are so thick and curly. So using my finger to pull my lashes down, I'm going to apply that outer V, that outer corner, and let it stick. Let it get its place. Then I'm going to go in and start doing it section by section. Gonna apply the middle, let that stick, and then the inner corner, and let that stick. Obviously, as you can see, my application is a little messy. Sometimes I'm good with it, sometimes I'm not. I just have way too much eyelashes to get this done perfectly, which is why I like going back in and reapplying my liquid liner. But now, since the glue's pretty much already dried when we were kind of playing with it initially, it's just gonna pop right on. And like I said, the glue does dry clear, so don't worry about the white. And FYI, for anyone who's never used this glue, it smells like fish. So don't be alarmed. It smells awful. I can't imagine why they can't change the formula to give it at least no scent, but it stinks. Now all I'm doing is I'm just kind of like pushing that lash in there. You really want to make sure that it's as close. If it's not as close to the lash line as possible, don't be afraid to pull it down before the glue is too dry. Pull it down and really pop it in there. Don't have the lash up here, don't have the lash up here. You want it to pretend as if it's growing out of your eyelid. And then after it's dry a little bit, then I start to go back and make sure that they kind of line up with my lashes, because my eyelashes like to compete for attention, so I have to kind of comb them out, make sure that they all mold together. It also does help to use an eyelash curler to kind of marry your natural lashes and the lash itself together. I'm going to go ahead and reapply my black liquid liner. And that's pretty much it. That's the final look.